Thank you for joining us today on Earth File. Welcome to the program. I'm Ayola Kasim. Agriculture in Africa is poised to remain one of the most important economic sectors, accounting for around 25% of the continent's gross domestic product. Over 60% of Africans rely on agriculture for some form of income. To transform the sector, the economic empowerment of women through boosting their productivity and raising their participation in commercial and higher value-added activities in the sector is said to be central. But there are many challenges to achieving this. The way forward is our focus today on Earth File. To stay with us. Women are the backbone of the development of rural and national economies. They comprise 43% of the world's agricultural labor force, which rises to 70% in some countries. In sub-Saharan Africa, 80% of agricultural production is by smallholder farmers, and the female share of the agricultural labor force is the highest in the world.
For too long, they have been undervalued. Their skills have been underutilized. We've not spent enough time, effort, or energy in enhancing their productivity, their empowerment and engagement in the marketplace. And if we do so, we believe that that will make and have a transformatory effect on agriculture and agribusiness in our continent.
Despite the important roles they play in agricultural economies, rural women in Africa suffer from the highest illiteracy rates and are the most visible face of poverty. But life for rural women isn't easy. Women don't have the same rights as men and often have to juggle domestic duties and agricultural work, sowing, weeding, and harvesting crops. But also making food for their families and collecting firewood and water. And it can be much harder for women to yield the same results on their farms as men do, as they often have more limited access to land, agricultural extension services, and technologies.
The difficulty in accessing funds is number one. The second is on the road to our farmland. The third is about our workers. The money we pay them is too much.
During the last 10 years, many African countries have adopted new land laws in order to strengthen women's land ownership rights. This has helped improve the situation of the rural women. To this effect, the lack of appreciation of the role of rural women in agriculture is harmful and gives rise to lack of specific policies. Policies which are misdirected, high levels of poverty, illiteracy, and non-involvement in the design and planning of programs and policies, which involves a process of mutual learning that reflects the real and specific needs of women.
I think if the government is able to help those of us in the villages know that, look, we can access, or there is loan, I think it will help, to unburden the stress. And then, like my brother now, his own cassava stayed in the ground for a year plus. So I know that there are good or newer stems that maybe under 6 months, can be harvested. So if government equally tries, help, and make those type of stems available to the farmers, I think it will be better.
Women guarantee livelihoods, especially in rural areas. As a result of their great efforts in agricultural production, women's production helps to guarantee their self-sustenance. This is still not enough, however, to cover other needs such as health care, paying for the education of their children, or the acquisition of other products and goods which are necessary on a day-to-day basis, since they have a limited financial capacity caused by an inefficient supply chain and poor conservation of their surpluses.
We need mobility, finance, what will improve our farming. All these women you saw here, they are all widows. Some of them have nothing doing. Some of them, they are struggling how to feed themselves and their family and their children. So what we need from the government is that the government should come and see what we are producing. Our family is not increasing because there is no assistance. Our assistance we need from government is that they should give us enough equipment to use in farming.
Connected with these problems, there is also the issue of climate change, which includes irregular rainfall, floods, droughts and cyclones, whose effects have a greater impact on rural women and make their life difficult.
However, by providing this predictable contingency financing to the government, it was identified that we can cut down on the cost and the impact on the population by assisting them in a timely manner. By doing so, we'll be preventing those households from losing their assets, engaging in destructive coping mechanisms, like taking out kids from school, for example, selling their productive assets, their livestock, their farm implements, just to make sure that they can buy some food. But if government can provide that food before these households engage in those destructive coping mechanisms, we'll be able to protect these farmers' livelihoods.
Rural women have to walk long distances to carry water and fetch firewood, which is harmful for the health of humans, causing high rates of infant and maternal mortality, reversing progress in education and endangering food sovereignty, as well as food security and nutrition.